Well, hello there. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, this is Pretty Girl Loves Trap content. And today in this video, we are reviewing slash recapping Power Book 2, Season 2, Episode 1. Free will is never free. Y'all, this was a pretty good episode. Yeah, I'm not sure if it gave what it had needed to give. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a 10 for me. It was a little, I would say, kind of lackluster in terms of my expectations, but there definitely a lot of things that's going to surface out of the setup episode that we just, watch. So we're going to have to see where they are going to take us this season. I am definitely going to enjoy the ride. And I am 100% sure that the episodes going forward are going to be much, much better. Okay. So I would say I rate this overall episode. I'll give it a low 7, okay? It was a little above average. I love seeing Tariq again. Lord knows I hated him the first, probably, I want to say the first season of Power. I would say season 5 and 6. So he has definitely grown on me as the protagonist of this series. Yeah, so let's get into this episode, okay? So it opens up with Tariq. He's having nightmares, okay? Because he just killed Professor Plagiarization, okay? Professor Jabari. So, this is the next morning, and apparently he is at Big Mama's house, okay? So this is his alibi. So, when he wakes up, he actually changes the battery in or SIM card. I'm sorry, I haven't had an Android in years, and I forgot how it works. But it's the same thing we used to see Ghost do. You know what I'm saying? He used to always be changing those batteries and SIM cards and those cell phones and whatnot, because that's what you have to do when you're a drug dealer out here in these streets, okay? You got to have different area codes, okay? You need to have different options, okay? So we, see he's looking at the text thread from his mom and Jabari. So apparently he's using this same number to communicate with both. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know if this is a great idea, but hey, we're going to roll with it. So he proceeds to erase the text thread from Jabari. And we hear Yaz, she cries out for some help. So apparently she done burnt down the house, y'all. Well, not burnt down the house, but she effed up breakfast, okay? And so Big Mama comes down, very annoyed. And I don't know, she's looking kind of sick. You know what I'm saying? Her face looks a little tired. She has a little scarf on. And she's highly disappointed in Yaz's culinary skills, okay? She was like, you can't be burning them bacon or whatever. And Tariq was like, yeah, the expectations are kind of high. And Big Mama was like, no, your mom and I both started cooking at Yaz's age. And to her point, I think Yaz was maybe between 10 and 12, probably about 10. I was cooking at that age. I started cooking about maybe 8 or 9. As little girls, we are learned to start the domestication process quite early. Did I make that word up? I don't know. I'm just going to roll with it, okay? But yeah, I'm not mad at her for for learning how to cook, but Big Mama, you got to be around. You can't be asleep when she's trying to cook. I'm just saying, you got good home insurance? I need to know. But yeah, she definitely seems a little off. I'm like, hey, is Big Mama sick? What's going on? Like, she seems very forgetful. So I'm like, okay, is she dealing with Alzheimer's disease? How old is Big Mama? Like, I'm so confused. So she leaves the room and tells Tariq, hey, you take Yaz to school. I'm going back to bed because she's very tired. So Tariq asks Yaz, hey, has Big Mama been drinking again? And Yaz says she's getting worse. So I presume they are saying that Big Mama has a drinking problem. But yeah, I was thinking more of an Alzheimer's sick type situation. But yeah, I could see Big Mama, I don't really like that they took this route, because I'm like, dang, why do our women got to be so toxic on these shows? Like, dang, Yaz's mama is a drug dealer, and Big Mama, she an alcoholic. Like, whew. But Big Mama, I'm just saying, you was talking all that crap about James, aka Ghost. What I'm saying? She probably all stressed, because the lifestyle that she's living in is not, up to par on what she is used to. So, she's feeling the stress about, what I'm saying, not having the options. I believe in James's will. He did pay for her rent for a year. But yeah, Big Mama probably stressed. So that's why she's going to the bottle, y'all. So y'all, we are at Monet's house, okay? And she's getting flashbacks about killing Jackie Long character. I forgot his name, but yeah, it was the so-called new Connect. No, the old Connect. That she was having an issue with that shot Drew. So, she's really like on 10 right now. And, she's looking at her books or what have you, just reviewing, what's going on with the business. And, she's in her bedroom and hears a little noise. So, she's, of course, paranoid. So she goes to get her gun. She cocks. I like the way she cocked that gun. Like, she seems like she's getting better when it comes to handling the, guns. So I'm like, okay, we've been working on something during the hiatus. Okay. So Diana comes out her room. She tells Diana, hey, if I'm not back in 5 minutes, get a gun, get Drew, and get the hell out of here, okay? I'm like, 5 minutes? That's a long time, Mama. You should say maybe 2.5, but 5, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's like 3 commercial breaks. I'm just saying. So, she proceeds to start looking around the house, see if she need to bust cap somebody behind. But lo and behold, it was Drew in the kitchen. He dropped the glass because, he's operating on one arm right now because, he got shot. And Drew, he still got a chip on his shoulder, always talking about, about being shot. And you could tell he is just over it. And, so he was the one that, made the noise. So, of course, Monet was able to put her gun away. So, y'all, we're seeing Kane come out of this back door. It looks like maybe some after hour spot, some strip club. So he is with this guy. I'm calling him Narc, possibly. And the old TGT dude that, I don't like, that he should have killed last season, okay? So apparently, he is some dude that the TGT guy, I gotta find him a name. I'm gonna call him Braids, okay? So Braids, apparently met up with this dude and, he's now acquainted with Kane. So I could tell Kane, he was giving me like Meech from BMF vibes. Like he was trying to sniff him out. So, he was explaining like, hey, do you know my dad? What crew did you run with? So the guy, he's giving okay answers, but I'm looking at him sideways as well, Kane. So I feel you on this. And so the guy peeps, like he was like, oh, you're trying to test me. So next thing we see the other TGG. That's a tongue twister, TGG. They come approaching, with some guns or what have you at Kane and, Braids. And so the narc dude was like, what's going on here? Before we know it, he pulls a Shaft / The Rock / Dacian Bourne, situation to where he took one gun and then shoots one and shoots together. So he pretty much saves the day, okay? And so there was a getaway driver. They were shooting at him, but he got away. So Braids was like, I guess he's not a narc now. And Kane was like, okay, we'll see. But I'm like, that don't mean nothing. That does not mean anything, okay? Narcs know how to change their stripes, okay? That's why they are narcs. I'm just saying, you got to be smarter than that. So, y'all, we see Davis McLean, a.k.a. Method Man. I love seeing Method Man act. I'm just saying, I just love the evolution. I've been feeling Method Man acting for a while. He used to play on The Wire. I think his name was Cheese. And, yeah, he's always a good vibe on the screen. So apparently him and Cooper Saxe, they're getting ready to be featured on this television show, probably a show, on a station like CNN and whatnot. Because, he just won this big case for Tasha. So I guess they're going to discuss all of those details, okay? So he can get the more, clients, okay? We need to get the monies rolling in, okay? Much like, who defended OJ? Johnny Cochran? Yeah, I'm sure Johnny Cochran's, I'm sure, his phone started ringing, once OJ got off, all right? So, they're discussing, the the situation in terms of the organization because Cooper Saxe, was introduced as his associate. And Cooper Saxe was like, I thought we were partners. And Davis was like, well, the name is on the door. It says, McLean and Associates, and you are my associate. Therefore, your name is on the door. Sound just like a lawyer, okay? So Cooper Saxe was, say, okay, whatever. And so we see Davis gets a phone call, and it's Tariq, y'all. Tariq wants to find his mommy, okay? And he says, Davis, I really need you to find my mom. It's about my sister. It's very important, okay? Because the last time he messaged her is when he got the money from Jabari. It was on his way to get the money from Jabari at the park. So he hasn't heard from her since. No, I think I'm getting that wrong. Y'all remind me. I'm trying to go back because she went to the gravesite. No, the last time he saw her actually was at the gravesite when that great scene between Tommy Monet and Tariq. Yeah, so that was the last time he saw her. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to just go back. I should have rewatched the last episode of last season, you know what I'm saying, to make sure I remember everything. But I'm pretty sure I did for the most part. I'm just second guessing myself. But I digress, okay? So Davis pretty much tells Tariq, I'll see what I can do, okay? And so Davis, tells Cooper Saxe what Tariq wants. And he was like, can you help me find his mom? He was like, that pretty much defeats the purpose of witness protection, okay? We're not trying to find people, okay? And so Davis McLean was like, hey, this is the opportunity to start nickel and diming. Okay, I'm like, you back at this again? You just got so-called $500,000 from Tariq. The first time he wanted he wanted you to defend his mom. Now you wanted to, come on, he's just a little boy. He's just a little boy, little freshman, okay? He's trying to get his education. Like, cut off some slack. I'm just saying. But you know how Davis is. He's just as crooked as he can be, okay? So we see Zeke. Oh, Lord, I'm so over Zeke. Old slave talking behind. So he is with his trainer and they're pretty much talking about his future. Hey, does he want to go into the draft? Does he want to stay in school? Zeke is very indecisive and does not know what he wants to do about his future, okay? Like, he ain't bright as it is. So he's the type of dude he needs to be told what to do because he doesn't have a lot of foresight, okay? So y'all, we are on campus. Tariq, he's walking and we see Brayden, and Brayden was like, hey Tariq, where have you been? So Tariq, gives Brayden a high level overview of what had happened. Okay. He tells Brayden, hey, my mom is in witness protection for her safety, and I was at my grandmother's house. I spent the night because we need to reiterate this, alibi. Okay. We need to make sure everybody knows that I was at grandma's house the night the Jabari was dead, died or was killed. Okay. We need to let that know. We need to let that sink in. All right. So, in this conversation, Brayden invites Tariq to this hunting trip that his family goes on every year. And I was like, oh, we don't do that, Brayden. Like, we don't really, yeah, we don't really partake in the Caucasian sports and whatnot. But hey, it's a new day, okay? We may go on this trip. So outside the classroom in the hallway, Lauren, she comes to Tariq, was like, hey, I heard your mom got out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't tell me. And I'm like, girl, you so full of yourself. Okay. We got so many things to worry about other than telling you that my mama got out. Like how she could have, not understood, like, hey, in the Black community, you know what I'm saying? We need to celebrate. They probably tried to have, a nice little coming home party like they did, with Ice Cube with Boys in the Hood, okay? We ain't got time. We ain't cool like that. We are not cool like that, Lauren, okay? Calm down, all right? But yeah, so Professor Sexaholic, she, peeps that all the students are outside of the classroom, and she was like, hey, what's going on? Where is Jabari? And, all the students were like, I don't know. So she was a little disappointed because I'm like, she was like, hey, he was supposed to open up the classrooms. And she proceeds to call him and leaves him a voice message saying, hey, Jabari, this is the first day of ethics class. Like, where are you? Like, what's going on? You didn't put in no PTO, no vacation time. Like, what's the problem? So, she decides to fill in for him about, ethics, which is, I guess, the name of this course. And you could tell this is going to be the theme of the season, ethics and all these questions being raised about ethical matters and whatnot. Courtney Kemp, they always like to leave a thread and a theme, every season. Last season, it was about different books. Now we're talking about ethics. So we see Big Bang Bisha, aka Light Skin Keisha, aka so-called, ratchet bougie student. She's going back and forth with her Asian counterpart, and they're all having a discussion in the classroom about ethics. It was a good little back and forth. So they're getting their learn on and whatnot. And so now we see Monet and Diana, okay, they are on a shopping spree. Okay, they got the Gucci, the Fendi, the Prada, the Louis Vuitton, like they are getting all of the things, okay? So they start putting on the bags, in their car. And then they stop at, I believe it was the bar that they use as a cover. So they went to the safe and they were moving all of the designer items out of the bags and the boxes and replacing them with the bricks of the Coke. And I'm like, what's going on with this plan here? Okay, because there's so many ways this can go wrong. Like, I don't know exactly what they were trying to do, but it doesn't make sense to me, okay? You have two African-American women with these loud, bright shopping bags, okay? And you're putting Coke in them. Couldn't you just have some cute little black, handbags and put the Coke in there? Like, it's so many other ways they could have hit the Coke, but I'm like, this is not saying it's suspicious because, hey, I've been to Rodeo Drive. I have purchased luxury items and, had those, some of those same very bags walking down the street, and people notice. People notice, that screams attention. So the fact that y'all in New York and y'all are Black women, you decide to hide the Coke in these bags, let alone New York has been very, very crazy lately. I don't know if it's a pandemic. These little kids are out here just shooting. New York has always been dangerous on some level. But at the end of the day, like lately, and not just New York, like Chicago's been crazy, LA, like everywhere is crazy. These kids, I don't know if it's the Molly, the lean, or what, but they have no code. So we're talking about New York currently. Like, even if they would have thought it was real, like, luxury items in those bags, you are an easy target. Just even stepping out into the street, into your car. You don't know who's watching, who's lurking, because they are always lurking. In New York, you always got to have the mindset that you're always being watched, either by a set of eyes, a camera. You're always being watched. So I didn't necessarily agree with this plan, but it was cute seeing them shop and just ball out of control. I am all about Black luxury, okay? We need to normalize Black luxury, okay? We don't always have to go to the Walmart, the Target, the Express. We deserve all the nice things, but I just didn't agree about, including the drugs in this. This did not make much sense to me, but hey, let me stop this rant and carry on, okay? So they're in the car and they got this weight in the car and Diana's driving. So Monet was like, hey, pull over. I got to run a quick errand. And Diana was like, this ain't smart. We got work in the car. Okay. Like, what are you doing, lady? She was like, just hold on for a minute. I'm like, Monet girl, like for real, you can drop it off first. Like maybe it was on the other side of town, child. I don't know. But she leaves and she comes back with this bag. And she notices there are two cops surrounding the car that, her Diana's in. So she's contemplating like, hey, do I need to start, get my gun out? Like, I don't know what to do. You could tell she was confused. But, she sees the officers go back into the cars and she goes in the car and asks Diana like, hey, what was going on? She was like, hey, they just asked me to move the car, but I did what you told me. I flirted a little bit and, all is well now. She's like, okay, girl, I'm proud of you, using your womanly ways and whatnot. So yeah, y'all, we see Tate, okay? He is crashing on his brother's couch, okay, which is his real brother and his play brother, his acting brother. It's so cute that, I love seeing siblings and family act together. It's just so cool to me. So apparently Tate, he is depressed, okay? He lost the governor's race and he's sticking to the bottle, okay? He may be, I'm saying, with Big Mama and, just drinking, just, having a good old time. But yeah, he's been drinking. He's been drinking. Shout out to Beyonce. And so he hasn't probably even showered or anything. He just got the whole situation in the room just a mess. It's a pigsty. So his brother pretty much gives him a pep talk like, hey, bro, you need to get your ish together, okay? We are Tates, okay? We are not the type of people to be down on our luck. We need to get it together. So he told him, you need to figure it out because you got a time clock going, okay? Because you need to get out and clean up my house. Clean up my house. So Drew goes into his room and he sees a little bag that Monet got. And it's some drawing supplies. I'm like, oh, that's low-key sweet. But yeah, if she wasn't such a trash mama, I would be appreciative, okay? Like, the thought was nice, but yeah, you pretty much are setting your kids up for a horrible life, girl. So yeah, I can't really give you the Mother of the Year award. But yeah, Drew, he proceeds to start drawing with his hand, of course. It's not working out, so he's frustrated. So yeah, y'all, the chip on his shoulder is going to be growing and growing like a nice little fungus or what have you, okay? So y'all, we are at this pre-hunting party, okay? This is like, I don't know, it's a little weird. Maybe it's like the equivalent of a black family reunion. Yeah, I think this is what this is, okay? So Brayden, he is gifted with a new car, nice little Mercedes and whatnot. And so, Tariq was like, oh, this is cool. Like, sign me up for this type of, gifting. And of course, Brayden, he's all unappreciative. He's just so complaining. Like, oh my God, I hate my life. I hate my family. And I'm like, yeah, Tariq, you could have had this. Ghost could have got you a car instead of you walking everywhere, okay? Because we ain't seen Tariq with a car yet. We ain't see him running either. But yeah, I'm just saying, Tariq, this could have been your life, okay? Anywho. So, his dad is talking, giving this little speech, and apparently his old college roommate is Congressman Rick Sweeney. I'm like, oh yeah, it's a small world after all in the Power universe. Everybody is connected, y'all. Everybody is connected. And of course, this is going to be an issue in the future, okay? But yeah, Congressman, he is introduced to Tariq, and it's being very like low-key racist and condescending. And I'm like, oh, Congressman. But they have this wonderful back and forth about illegal and legal drugs, okay? And race. Because Congressman, he pretty much asked Tariq who his dad was because he assumed Tariq was probably on some financial aid or whatnot. And Tariq was like, nah, bruh, my education has been funded by this trust that my dad set up. So, Congressman was like, hey, who was your dad? Tariq said, James St. Patrick. He was like, oh yeah, I met him at the DNC fundraiser. He was very, nice man or what have you. Well, I know, all the rumors about him dealing drugs is, after he died is probably, affecting you. And so, Tariq was like, hey, yeah, it's not really bothering me or whatnot, but yeah, you need to be focusing on this opioid situation in middle America and whatnot. And so, the congressman was pretty much saying that illegal drugs, aka crack or heroin, quote unquote black drugs is worse than, other drugs that are legal, pills and whatnot. And Tariq, pretty much schooled him and was like, hey, no, legal drugs are killing people at a higher rate, okay, than illegal drugs. So that pretty much shut Congressman up, okay? Congressman, he was put in his place, and I was all in my city girls moment. I was like, period, yes, Tariq, yes, school him. And Tariq, no, he got him. So I was like, yeah, Tariq, I like that. Put him in his place, boo-boo. So y'all, we are at the park, okay? We're at the crime scene, and the cops are discussing Jabari, and they're figuring out his identity. And so one of the cops stated, like, hey, I think we found the murder scene. I mean, the murder murder, what is it, y'all? I am drawing a blank. The murder weapon. Y'all, this has been a crazy day, so please excuse me, okay? And so apparently they ran the gun already. Like, you just picked it up and put it in the baggie. Like, they already know it's pretty much Officer Ramirez's gun, and they're pretty much saying Ramirez hasn't showed up to work in a week. So yeah, this is going to be all tied in so messily. Is that a word? I don't know. I don't care. But yeah, this is going to be a whole hot mess. Okay. But maybe, technology today, maybe they was able to figure it out, with the serial number and, type in some, numbers in the, patrol car, laptop and whatnot, and figured out it was Ramirez's gun. So we see Tate, he's at Ott's house, and he was like, I need to get in, get me into a seat. So apparently he said the only way you can get into the seat you want, you have to dig up some old dirt from the person that's already in the seat. And Tate was like, okay, now that's your promise. If I get some dirt on the guy, we need to move him out and move me in. And so, of course, we know that Tate's brother is a police officer. So he asked his brother to, hey, log me in to the police department database, so I can get some dirt, so I can get a job, okay? But yeah, I've been trying to figure out what kind of vibes Tate gives me. And he gives me evil Carlton Banks vibes. If Carlton Banks from The Fresh Prince was an evil villain, it's Tate. It's Tate. Y'all, if y'all agree with me, let me know. So we see Professor Sexaholic. She's walking down the street, and she is even leaving a voice message or talking on the phone with her sexaholic sponsor, pretty much giving her BS, saying, hey, I'm no longer messing with Jabari and Zeke any longer. She's on her way to a date with an old fling that she used to work with. And he is very promising, okay? He's a good candidate for her future sexual endeavors and whatnot, okay? And so she gets off the phone and she meets the guy, the so-called new love, and it's actually the same detective that is on Jabari's case. I'm like, another instance of It's a Small World after all. And his name is Detective Kevin Whitman. And so she was like, hey, I'm sorry I'm late. Shall we go inside and get our coffee and whatnot? He was like, no, I have another plan, boo-boo. I'm like, okay, a little excitement. But y'all, he took her to the morgue. I'm like, bruh. Like, are you serious right now? Like, originally I'm thinking like, hey, this date was set up with the whole purpose of taking her to the morgue. But I'm like, hey, was this set up before Jabari died? But I don't think so. I think he really wanted to ambush her and have her identify his body. But you could have just said that, girl. You could just say, hey, I really need something important. I need a favor. Can you meet me at an address X, Y, and Z? Not, hey, let's meet up for a coffee and for a little date. He could have did. Oh, it's the Lord. That's real Ebonic. Like, he could have he could have said, let's meet up for coffee. But knowing Miss Professor Sexaholic, she probably took it to a whole nother level and made it a big deal and think it's a love connection. But he is actually just investigating the case. So that's probably the situation. But he takes her to the morgue and, they peel the sheet back on Jabari's body. And of course, she's all shocked and what have you. And so, he was like, hey, I presume you know him, blah, 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 blah. And, he's noticing how she is very affected. And was like, hey, did you have a sexual relationship, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, you've been known to thot around, with your coworkers. I was like, bruh. He didn't say those exact words, but that's what he was alluding to. So he was like, I need a list of everybody that he has, pretty much been teaching and, because he knows that Professor Jabari, I don't know why I can't talk tonight, y'all, but he knows Jabari was helping Laz Alonso's character investigate the pool murder. So yeah, y'all, they're all gonna piece this together, y'all. Now, how are we gonna get out of this? How, Sway? Courtney, tell me what you got planned, because I can't be stressed out for 9 more episodes. Anywho, Anywho, y'all, so we are at the school and all the students are getting alerts on their cell phones. So, Brayden and Tariq, they're trying to figure out what's going on. Everybody's phone's buzzing. So Brayden looks at his phone like, hey, yo, Jabari is dead. Like, what's going on? So, of course, Tariq has to play dumb. Y'all, yeah. So this is stressful, y'all. So we're at Monet's house and she's giving Diana gun lessons, okay? She's trying to teach her how to load a pistol, how to get them bullets in there, and it is not successful. She's getting a D right now. A whole D. But of course it's going to take some time. This is not something that's easy, especially if you have nails or whatever. So, yeah, she's going to need some more practice, but hey, this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm surprised she didn't teach her earlier. Like, Diana's, 18 or so? Like, I don't know. She probably should have learned a little sooner, Monet, but whatever. So, as she's teaching Diana about this whole gun situation, she tells the kids about the new plan, okay? She says, hey, our drug dealing is going to cease shortly because we have a new product, okay, and it's Zeke, okay? And so we're going to tell him to go pro, and then once he start making that money, that moolah, that cheddar, we're going to go ahead and stop the business, and we're going to work for him, okay? Diana, you're going to be on Thought Patrol. Make sure he don't impregnate anybody, because we know them ball players be having 50, 11 baby mamas. And you're going to go ahead and be his day-to-day person. Telling her son that. And then, Monet said, hey, I'm going to manage him, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, girl, that's playing. Like, talking about riding somebody's coattails. And so it was asking her, did you talk this out with Zeke? And she was like, he don't have no choice, okay? He don't got no choice. I'm like, all right, Diana, you doing a whole lot, okay? Can't we just open up a business? A tax business or something? Like, I don't know, y'all. It's a hot mess. So Tariq's in his dorm room. So Lauren comes in. She's all broken up about Jabari. And she's wondering why Tariq is not feeling any type of way. Tariq was like, bruh, I lost my daddy. I lost my godmama. My mama in witness protection. I lost my twin sister. I lost my uncle. Like, I don't got no more grief up in me, girl. Like, what do you want from me? She was like, well, I had no idea you had all that loss. Blah, blah, blah. And yeah, y'all, like, she was wanting some consoling. They shared a nice little passionate kiss. But of course, he gets a call or what have you, and he has to go. And she was feeling some type of way. Like, damn, I was about to give up the goods. You know what I'm saying? Like, bruh, that's rude. But hey, it's another day for sex, I guess. Okay. So Tariq, he meets up with Kane at this, the highest level of some parking garage. Kane pulls up in a range, and Tariq is on foot with not a car in sight. I'm like, Tariq, where's your vehicle? Was that not in the plan? I know, James's trust included, a vehicle, but can we scrounge up $20,000 for like a Camry or something? Like, like, what's going on here? Like, something ain't adding up. The math ain't mathing. But Tariq has the latest gear. Like, he be having Fendi coats on. Like, what's going on here? And you're making drug money. I mean, for real. Like, are you taking Ubers? Like, that won't work. You can't be a drug dealer Ubering up and meeting up with your with your connects and whatnot and your associates. But that would actually be funny if there are some drug dealers who do Uber. Oh God, that's hilarious. Anywho, so what I'm saying, Kane is like, hey, I hope this whole Jabari thing does not blow up in our face, because it's all up in the news. Like, what's going on? You said nobody's going to find out. And so in this conversation, Tariq gets a text from Monet, inviting him to dinner. And Kane was like, yeah, she about to ask you about that, bro. But just lie and just say you don't know nothing about it. So we see Zeke, he goes to Professor's sexaholic's house, and he was like, I heard about Jabari. I can't do him. He just give me real Waldo Faldo from Family Matters vibes, like just dumb. And so, of course, she's all distraught. And you know what? It's her medicine. It's sex. So, of course, they have the sex and whatnot. And so after, they have sex, she was like, hey, Jabari was investigating the pool murder. Do you think, your auntie and them have something to do with this? And Zeke was like, no, she would never do anything to, mess up my career or what have you. And, she tells him like, hey, Monet did threaten me. And, yeah, um, she may have possibly threatened Jabari about, things. And, of course, Zeke, he's denying everything, of course, because he doesn't know. And she actually didn't kill Professor Jabari. So, what I'm saying? He's actually honest right now. So at Monet's house, Tariq, of course, is being grilled while they're having dinner. And of course, he lies. And of course, Diana and Drew, they kind of peep scene like, I don't think Tariq telling the truth, but they know how Monet is. And, sometimes you just got to lie to her ass, okay? So we see Tariq and Brayden, okay? They're in this random street, and Tariq got the same luxury bag items that Monet and Diana had. And so he proceeds to put them in Brayden's trunk. And Brayden was like, hey, what is that? And so he shows Brayden it's the drugs inside. And he's all geeked and excited because, he's a low-key, another level of Tommy. And yeah, so he's excited about being a drug dealer and making money, in which, I'm saying, he doesn't really need to make. But hey, some people just like the thrill. And, it makes sense that, I'm saying, that he will, possibly have these bags in his car because he's white, he's a nice vehicle. If he were to be, pulled over, it would just look normal. So, y'all, I'm a little annoyed at this scene because I'm like, y'all got the drugs out there. He's showing him the drugs outside of the boxes and just, it's real sloppy. Like, I'm like, I'm just annoyed. But anywho, y'all, we're at the airplane hangar and Narc possibly, he pretty much invites Kane, and he has the last member of TGT all locked up or what have you. Not locked up, but like in the chair, the typical chair tied up, hostage situation. And he pretty much tell Kane like, hey, I need you to prove yourself. You either kill him or not. And I'm like, you don't know who you talking to because Kane, he don't need no reason to kill nobody. So he was like, no, I don't want to kill. I want to fight. So he unties the dude and the dude starts, kind of wailing on him. I'm like, Kane, was this the right decision? But Kane ultimately was able to snap old dude's neck by, killing him. And, apparently, he started cleaning himself off a few minutes later, and he notices there are some drugs on a plane. Like they have these open bags of drugs on a whole plane. So he gets one of the little bricks or what have you, and the narc kind of comes up and hey, Kane was like, bro, I was just, taking a peek see here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to do anything. I'm not trying to steal. And so of course, Kane just as dumb as can be, and just pretty much like, hey, I can move this for you. And I'm like, Kane, open your eyes, bro. Like, this don't look fishy to you. Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, this dude has drugs on the plane, just visibly. You don't see no crew around him. He just smells like a cop or a op. Like, bruh, just think. But Kane is just dumb and y'all, okay, let me just can't let Kane frustrate me this season, okay? So, we're back at the house, and Diana and Drew, they're talking about the mom's new plan about Zeke, and they're not feeling it. They was like, I'm not trying to be up on under Zeke. Like, I'm supposed to be Zeke's bitch. Like, this is not cute. This is not what I want to do. And so Drew was like, hey, we need to start making decisions on our own. So we're going to see Drew and Diana, throughout the season trying to figure out their exit plan. So Zeke is practicing with his hooping or whatever at the gym, and Monet comes in and she was like, bro, you been ignoring my text or what have you. Like, what's going on? So Zeke's mad because she threatened Professor Sexaholic about their relationship, and he grills Monet about sorry, I have a friend named Monet, so if I keep calling her Monet, I'm sorry. So he grills her about Professor Jabari. She's like, yo, I ain't got nothing to do with that. He was like, are you sure? Don't lie to me. I'm like, Zeke, what you gonna do if she lying to you? You ain't gonna do that, boy. Calm down. But she pretty much tells Zeke like, hey, I need you to enter the draft ASAP pronto. And I'm like, they're acting like the draft is like something you can do. It's like voting or something. Like, let me go in this line and vote. Like, no, this is the draft, okay? Like, you got to be extra special. You know what I'm saying? You're not in no big school. You're like in a private white school. And it's 1 in a million chance to get into the draft. and more of a slim chance for you to be first round or have like, those big contracts. Okay. So yeah, they're not even really showing Zeke is like as good as he need to be in the draft. So yeah, Monet, like I don't know what you think the NBA is, but it's not some like Walmart that anybody can just go into. Like, girl, snap yourself into reality. So y'all, we're at the deer hunting situation with Braden and his family, okay? And long story short, they find a deer, they shoot a deer, and then I guess they're all camouflaged or what have you. So Braden, Tariq, they're in this little tent, and then the dad and Congressman there in another tent. And so Tariq, he ends up possibly like kind of going after the deer, but Congressman damn near killed Tariq. Like he clearly, like you don't see this black man in this white snow. Like he is not camouflaged. So I'm like, bruh, like, are you salty about Tariq checking you at the party, the pre-party? Like, you really damn near about to kill this little black boy? Like, what's going on? This is so problematic, y'all. So I was pissed off. Long story short about this scene, Tariq is still going to, through PTSD. They're all surrounding this wounded deer. And they offer Tariq, the kill shot. Tariq doesn't take it. Braden takes it because Tariq doesn't kill the animals. He kills the humans, okay? Only need be as of now, okay? It's not really a sport or for fun. It's only if it's necessary, okay? Even though ghosts may not have been necessary, but yeah, we're gonna leave that be, okay? So y'all, we see Davis MacLean, and he goes into the jail visiting room, and we are met, by his brother, which is Redman. I'm like, okay, I see you looking out for your boy, Method Man. I like it. And so this is a pretty good scene. We find out that Redman is his older brother, and he is actually sick. We're not sure exactly with what, but it requires him to take pills to get healthy. And then, Method Man notices some bruises on his face. And so he feels bad for his brother. He wants to get his brother out. But apparently Davis MacLean has a plan to have Saxe help him get his brother out of jail. Okay, so he has a reason for hiring Saxe. And y'all, this is going to be interesting on how this all plays out. But he promises his brother he's going to get him out because he doesn't want his brother to die in jail. So whatever he has, it's serious. So I'm loving seeing Redman on the scene. I'm loving this whole dynamic. They have the best chemistry. I mean, their verses, oh my God, their verses was great. But anywho, back at Monet's house, Kane is knocking on the door. Mama, I got a new connect. Hire me. We got a new option. And I'm like, bruh, like, yeah, this isn't going to work. And Monet, she pretty much ignores him and closes the door as she should because Kane is dumb as I don't know what. But we find out that Kane is being followed by Narc Lightly. I'm like, yeah, I need to figure out what this guy angle is since he's going to piss me off. So back at the dorm room, Tariq, he puts the battery back in that, because he's waiting on communication from his mom. He's not getting a text back from his mom, but he gets a call. And of course, he doesn't know who's calling, but he has to answer because it could be his mom. And so he answers the phone, and the other person introduces himself as Detective Kevin Whitman. I'm like, bruh. No. So, of course, Tariq hangs up and takes the little battery, SIM card, whatever, out of the phone. And of course, they were able to track it to Stansfield. So they know whoever was on the other line is associated with the college. Y'all, this is going to be messy, and I'm going to love how they intertwine everything. But it was an okay episode. I definitely know it's going to get better. But I live for the aesthetics of it all. I love Tariq's attire. He had a great, nice little black and white sweater throughout the episode. So I love the fashions, y'all. I love the fashions. And I love the music. I didn't realize the main song that they were using was Tyler, the Creator. And I'm not familiar with all of his music. I am a little familiar with him. He's fairly funny. He had like a little TV show on one of those stations, but it's actually a great song. The way they broke it down to build suspense throughout the episode, I really did enjoy it, y'all. But tell me, how did you guys feel about this episode? But again, I'll give it a low 7. But I know it's going to get better. I know it's going to amp up. But hey, this is a show. We're gonna ride through it. And thank you guys for listening. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And please comment your thoughts. All right. And I will see you guys in episode or on episode or after episode 2 because it's late and I'm tired, y'all. I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.